These first couple pictures, like they don't have like this full story hasn't started yet. This is like the intro credits. This was me like really unraveling my reality by questioning as much as I can about what I was experiencing as I was experiencing it. So yeah, this one's called Inspiration. Have you ever experienced micro sleep? How long is a dream? What if you can remember all of your dreams? Have you ever learned in your sleep? When do you learn the most? What are brainwaves? What channel are you on? What is channeling? What if you can control it? What if you are the controller? And this is when I started to get messages. I was getting downloads for the first time that I could the first time that I know of, like that I can concrete say that I was getting downloads. Like this was the beginning. I remember when I drew this picture, I woke up from like a dream, and the dream was like, it wasn't even a long dream. It was like I went to sleep and like a compression of data was like pushed into my head. And I woke up and I was like, I have to draw. Like, and I like went upstairs and I was just like, and like writing it down as fast as I could. And they were explaining like densities and like and like new earth and like waves of energy and fractal reality and like some shit that I'd never heard of in my life. I had no clue what any of that stuff meant yet because I didn't do any of the research yet. I just knew that these things is what I was told. And I had to write it all down, and like that space was subjective, and that there was like a good self and other evil selves, and they were all the same selves, and that there was this like goal of raising free will and this new earth, and that there was like in the very middle, like this very middle spot right here was actually Earth, and then there was like this ring of like satellites and all this extra shit, and then there was like the space as we know it, and then there was like this border place, like this like egg shell like of nothingness, and then there was like a bunch of like these spaceships out here in this 4D realm that kind of looked like astral space, and then there was this like higher layer where like it still kind of looked like the lower area of the astral space, but people were hanging out on like meteors and like spaceships and other planets. They were just kind of chilling. Like everybody was like kind of spacefaring, but like on an astral level. And then there was a separation between there. There was like this huge abyss. And then there was like this whole nother Earth. It was like 1 million times bigger than this Earth. And it like the way that the land structure was set up was like a weird like spirally pattern, and there was an island there, and on the island there was a giant cross, and and then there was another moon, and I saw Saturn, and then past that was this seventh dimensional space where I saw like a bunch, like I couldn't even draw anymore, but imagine like a million versions of this planet all over here. And and I was trying to record as much information as I could, and I didn't understand anything at the beginning, but now I understand. All right, questions.
I just want to say this is pretty amazing that how your drawing flips so suddenly from dealing with like a lot of anxiety and PTSD to like a spiritual awakening, where you go from where you are tiny on a dot far, far away, and you like pushed yourself through all those layers of reality or densities, and then you came out into a literal whole new plane of existence, and that your mind traveled really far. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Tyrone?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a download. I mean, you accepted the star seed, and now it's like you're getting like your missions. Like, hey, this is part of your journey. You chose this, and this is what you're a part of. You're a part of the new Earth, and this big awakening that's happening. And I think it's really interesting that you drew Saturn, which is like at the forefront of the whole like Federation of Light, our Galactic Command Council, that sort of thing. And you're seeing like all the guides and spaceships and like everybody just changing. I think we did cover this picture too, in episode 1. I'm glad we're covering it again. Actually, I think this like within the context of what we're discussing, I think it's a definite sign of like spiritual awakening, which is incredible.
You know, also now that you brought up, like after taking the starseed, what if like that anchored me? Like when I took it, like it anchored me to something outside of the reality that I was in, and so like that's what like formed that bridge, which is this thing right here. But the thing is, like I remember distinctly because like I was writing this like information. Well, I remember this bridge right here is a solar flash, by the way. It was like light information. That's what I was told.
Oh.
Light. Like this yellow line was light.
Yeah.
I was pushed. Like I was connected. I don't know who that is. I was connected by this light, like past this earth. Like I saw this earth, and then I saw all the other ones, and I got pushed past it. And like you can't see the bottom of the thing, but there's more down here. And it was explaining to me that like you can see kind of like this little eyeball guy, but it was explaining how these little eyeball guys were making all these little earths that were connected to this big earth that was all the other things. I just couldn't put it all in one picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is a really great picture, man. It just says so much about everything, just like the multiverse, multidimensionality, and like your connection to it. And I think that starseed definitely like anchored you to a completely new reality. It was like the Red Pill. It really was the Red Pill.
Yeah. Well, I took the gold pill on that one.
Yeah.
Like,
that's so cool.
yeah, and I remember the increase in like knowledge and experience past like the new Earth, like.
That's so bad now. What?
Oh my god! All right, dude, I gotta pause this.
Wow.
All right, sorry about that again. The phones they go crazy. All right, what were you saying, Tyron?
Oh no, you're saying about the No, we were talking about the gold pill. You took the gold pill.
Yeah, we took the gold pill. Yeah, and I think that's what created the bridge, and then the knowledge and the whole thing was that like past this point, it's like a ridiculous amount of knowledge and experience.
What's the good evil we have going on over here?
Oh.
Service to self, service to others.
Yeah, they were explaining the service to self, service to others pendulum on planet Earth, and they're explaining how like the pendulum swings multiple ways, and that like by influencing, like by being service to others, you're being service to all, which is service to self. And that there are service to self entities that are just only serving themselves, and they're gonna lose a lot of energy coming up because it's well, you burn yourself out. And it wasn't gonna fly in this new reality, like the way that people were parasizing off the collective before wasn't gonna work in the 5D Earth. That's what I was told.
That's amazing, man. You just touched on the law of one right there. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. When did you start getting into that kind of stuff? Was it around the time you drew this, or was it afterwards? When?
I definitely know that at some point I start listening to the law of one, and it heavily influences everything. So I'm sure we'll know it when we see it. But I don't think I started listening. Well, maybe I started listening to it a little bit. I'm trying to look at hashtags to see if I have like any keywords in there. I don't see it. I don't remember if I started listening to the Law of One quite yet.
All right. Well, I'm definitely seeing that.
Okay.
Because
I definitely read because I remember I went through the Bible first. Like, 'cause I told myself, like, before I got into like other spiritual shit, I needed to master Christianity. I needed to understand that. And so like I remember reading like the Great Controversy, the Nag Hammadi Codexes, the
Bible.
The Bible. And then there was another one. I can't remember the words for it right now. What was it? It's the Dead Sea Scrolls, dude. I can't remember what the books of Enoch. The Book of Enoch.
Yes.
I read all the extra books. I read all Bible plus, and I wanted to know what was in there before I moved past. And I will say, by the time I was done with the Bible, I was thoroughly confused. But I definitely knew, I definitely knew something was going on, and I knew that I needed more points of view than I was getting. But I feel like I exhausted all that I could have looked at from at least my knowledge point at that time, if that makes any sense.
That makes complete sense. It's like the perfect reason you started having downloads. It was like, okay, you've this world's given you all it can give you in terms of like books and like paper. So, you know, we're just gonna plug straight into your brain and give you information. Download. Upgrades.
Upgrades. And I remember at this time I started getting like headaches and like sleeping a lot and like also staying up really late. There's all types of weird stuff. Oh man,